everyone out there. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. I have a guest to my left on screen. In these COVID times, we're doing our shows remotely. But this is a gentleman I would have liked to have met when he was here. Seb, how would I best introduce you? SebCast, or how would you like me to introduce you?
SebCam is the keyword. It's like a webcam, but it's SebCam.
And do you ever use your full name or rarely?
No, I don't. I always, in fact, I'm glad you asked that. I'm actually looking to change my real name to SebCam. So it says it on my passport. I think it'd be kind of funny.
Well, I think it would be great. Now, first of all, Seb, I guess I'll just call you Seb. Does that work? Yeah.
Yeah. My name's Seb. This is the cam. This is SebCam.
Anyway, thank you for joining me here. We are on radio, KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. We're also on Akaku Maui Community Television. We're also on the web. We're on YouTube, where we live all the time. And I came upon this video because I had a friend, by the way, on our webpage, you can find all our shows, and you'll talk MauiArtsAndMusic.org, Maui Neutral Zone. I only mention those because this video may be the most viewed video of all that we've ever done. This is my guess, because I want to be part of what you do. Are you there still? My screen went black.
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm enjoying your radio presenter.
Well, you know, some people think of me sort of like the Larry King of Maui. I'd like to do a radio show or talking to someone, but we're really on TV. So this format seems to work really well. Just I'd like to be in person again. You know, it's a funny experience being remote and creating intimacy, because your shirt says a lot. If you're on radio, you don't see a very handsome, virile, I want to say young man. At 70, you're a young man. And Seb, you've been running around the world, I guess. You can describe it differently. If we were on television, this is the point where I'd say, okay, let's cut to, and we would cut to what we're going to cut in here, which is your preview of your thing that I'm sure that you're going to give me that will kind of set it up. And if we were on radio, you'd say at one moment, and then you'd come back. Well, we're back. Wasn't that amazing? Seb, I just saw a video, and it looks like you're running from Europe. Somehow you got to America and then you're on the way to Fiji, but there must be some reason. And so this is like really unusual. What exactly, to our radio audience, a television audience, you're going to get it twice and up close and personal. What was your notion for why you wanted to go on this run?
Well, I've always enjoyed making videos and making exciting content. And I love the idea of being almost live, like streaming live or making videos every day. I've been documenting and filming everything since about 2004 in my own life. Wow. So this is just a kind of evolution of that. It's like now I'm taking the vlogging on the road, quite literally, editing and uploading from my phone. And the concept is I'm going to run around the world. So it's kind of a bit like Forrest Gump right now, because it's America. I'm running. I've been growing the beard. And I thought that would be kind of funny, too, to see me begin in London and Miami, clean shaven. And then the further I run, the more kind of hairy I get, the more progress I've made. And it's a combination of Forrest Gump and The Truman Show.
Do you edit on your phone? You do. Yeah. What kind of program do you use?
It's called Cinemaster, K-I-N-E Master. And I have a little pen, you know, like those stylus phone pens, so I can get very accurate with the cuts and add music and everything. And it's just so convenient. I can take it anywhere.
The Android phone? Android phone.
Yeah. I found that the Android is better. mainly because I use this amazing laptop. Look how small that is.
Yeah.
So
That's that kind doesn't hold data. You keep your data somewhere else, or does it keep the data in there?
Hold a certain amount of gigabytes, but I have this for the real backup. That's got many, many terabytes on it.
Okay.
But what I'm getting at is these two things, the laptop, which only weighs 500 grams, can go into my little belt pouch very easily. And there's nothing available on Apple or Mac that's that small. So I had to kind of go for Windows and get the Android phone. And I found that to be very convenient. But I've kind of jumped the fence either side, Windows, Mac. I feel like, why don't you just do both? People.
Well, I'm just thinking about the editing, because editing on the fly like that is really terrific. I like that notion. I'm sure if I look at my iPad, there's got to be some way to get it simple, apples into simple.
Yeah, well, Cinemaster is available for Apple and Android. I know that much, and it's only available on a phone format. You literally can't get it for desktop.
Oh, okay. Well, so you're running around the world now. You must. Is this financed as you go? Are you self-propelled, as we say?
Immediate answer to that is I don't know. Like, what I mean is I set off with barely enough money for food, and I knew that at some point the money would run out, which was not far through Florida, which is the first state where I began. And I wanted to have some miles behind me, and of course the audience watching, before I begin to say, hey guys, I'm going to run out of money soon. I might have to stop and get a real job or do something different. And then people say, well, no, hang on. Here's $50. Here's $100. PayPal. So I'm literally funded by the people who live inside the camera, the people watching, just through donations, a bit like a monk.
And so you'll give me, and we'll post appropriate links and things so that people can do just that. Because I'm sure that as you're going, you started with maybe a lot. Did you have a lot of ideas of what you wanted to be sharing as you're going, or as you're going, are you developing? Were you a juice guy way back when you starting, or as you went, you go, I can't get my turkey,
No, actually, that's a great question. That's what inspired to even do the running, is the way I was eating. I discovered this health transformation, to give it a word, fruitarian, I suppose, or plant-based is the more popular term now, but really I call it alkaline eating. Like alkaline foods, alkaline pH will resist disease in the body. If the body is acidic, you'll get sick. Disease will thrive in acid. So I found around 2006, 2007, I found this information. By 2008, I've never been sick since. I mean, no cold, no flu, no headache, no sore throat, no nothing. And I found that to be incredible, because I used to get sick all the time. So it's a very clear switch, and I can pinpoint what's caused it. So I was so excited to kind of evangelize everybody and tell everyone, wow, look at this amazing lifestyle. But no one was particularly interested in just a guy who doesn't get sick. So I was like, maybe I should do my other lifelong dream, which is to run around the world. Now, all the other ultra runners who do these 100-mile races, they win these races by eating high carbohydrate, low fat, fruits, mostly fruit-based. So I realized that all these guys have this nutrition and they're the winners, and I already eat this way. Why don't I just start running? I'm not really a runner. Ironically, I don't consider myself a runner even now, but I already was eating that way. I already had the Forrest Gump Truman Show dream. So I kind of put the puzzle pieces together. Even though I didn't have the money, I just set off.
That's so exciting. Very. Now, obviously, you're inside today. So along the way, here and there, someone says, stay at our place, or come here and support your journey. That's such a beautiful story, really. So how long have you been doing this? How long have you been actually running? When did you set off on this?
This is, I count the number of days. We're at 553 days.
I get it. You count the days. I understand. So that's a healthy almost 2 years working on. And how far? I know you're probably gonna keep doing it until I'm not sure until you're find the next thing happening. Isn't it beautiful each day as we unfold like petals of a lotus to see what's gonna be now and where are we now? You know, we're blessed here on Maui. When you were running and you were running to Hana, you passed maybe, I want to say the 14-mile marker. It's probably somewhere 12 and a half. Ram Dass had a house out there, you know, be here now, Ram Dass. Of course.
Yeah.
And just the idea of this is it. So each day as you're running, I've watched a handful of your things because they're intense. You know, someone's this way. They're all very dynamic and interesting and a great viewing experience. I'm hoping all of our listeners and viewers will go up and through the links that we're at, get to you or go directly, whatever is right, because I think it's just really wonderful. And I'm sure as you go, I'm sure you're getting more inspired as you go because you really stand for everyone's dream. And I know it's my dream. Just be, I don't want to say carefree, let's say in the moment and being supported and going with that. And have there been rough patches along this way, or has it always just been sort of floating on a platform of support? I'm curious.
I think
COVID and everything, what an amazing time to be out there.
Yeah, it's always a roller coaster. There are highs and lows and unexpected kindness, like you mentioned, like being, you know, invited to somewhere to stay, or people offering me food or water, or even supporting, like sending through, like you mentioned, the PayPal. Really, I don't know what's going to happen because it's a kind of almost live show. So my only real job, I say, I push the button. So I push the button on the camera. I just try and make sure it's on and capture whatever happens. And you know, usually it's something, like you said, very heartwarming and encouraging and exciting. And I'm just as thrilled to know what happens next as anybody else. I feel like, imagine there were two TV channels and you had the remote, and on one channel the guy is running, but he's got a support crew, a vehicle, he's got loads of money and all the hotels and food paid for. Or on the other channel, there's a guy who doesn't know how he's going to make it. Which one are you going to watch?
Right. Well, have you done many of these? I'm sure you've done some of these along the way. Yes.
I'd love to do more. I think I've been so busy running and focused on the running and the editing. My kind of catchphrase or tagline is run, eat, edit, sleep, run, eat, edit, sleep, run, eat. It just repeats. So there's no real time in there available for like marketing or doing these. I mean, I want to do them, but to connect with those people takes a little bit of networking and organizing. And I think that's what I'll probably do after I've reached the Hollywood sign, which I've set as the goal. It's right now, America is Miami to the Hollywood sign, and I'm currently San Francisco, so I'm getting close. After the Hollywood sign, I'll probably have more time available to do more of these kind of podcasts.
Well, I hope you'll feel comfortable to share with people, because this kind of thing is you're inspirational to a lot of people. There's a gentleman here who introduced me, said to me, his name is David Johnston. You remember David Johnston here on Maui for sure. He said, Jason, would you like to interview a guy that's running around the world? I said, absolutely. So I feel very fortunate to have stopped you long enough, and even remotely, thank you for getting back to me. You were here on Maui, and when you were on Maui, where did you have a plan? Maybe you can give the people of Maui an experience of your experience here.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you questioned, do I have a plan, as another one of my catchphrases is planning not to plan. Like, my plan is to kind of be adaptable and adjust along the way and be able to go with the flow. So, for example, every Hawaiian island I landed at, all I would really pick is the airport. So the first place I landed was Honolulu, and I stepped out the airport with no idea what way I'm going to run. What I mean is, I know I'm going to run around the perimeter of every Hawaiian island, but I don't know which way I'm going to go. Do I go clockwise or anti-clockwise, or where am I going to stay tonight? I genuinely don't know. I've got a hammock in my utility belt. It's a bit like a Batman belt of everything I need.
Yeah.
And I'm making it up as I go. So from Honolulu, I actually wandered straight into Pearl Harbor with military people with guns. I had no idea that that was a thing. And they directed me a better direction to go. So I went round that island, and then next was the big island, and finally was Maui. So when I arrived in Maui, I had no idea again which way I'm going to run, whether it's going to be clockwise or anti-clockwise. And in the end, it's kind of like a figure of eight. So I kind of pieced it together and did it in strange sections. But it only actually really took about a week to run around Maui.
Wow. Yeah. As you were running, any spots that you said, wow, a couple of times? I'd be curious, Maui does its marketing. Its best marketing choices are the ones by people like yourself who really get out there and see what's going on here. I like to think that Maui has the potential to be an example to the world of self-sustainability. And that's a whole other slant I might talk about with you. But when you're running around, I'm curious what you see, because you're in San Francisco. I'm a refugee from New York who lived in Los Angeles for, I don't remember now, 73 to 88, 15 years. And I've been here in Maui since 1988. And I was in 1994, I was your Green Party candidate for mayor of Maui. And as you could tell, I went right, they went left, and I've been trying to get them to come. So I'm curious with someone coming here like yourself, I'm just curious because you've now really got a closer look than most everybody as you go.
Yeah, I got a good idea. I'll put it back to before I'd ever been to Hawaii. To me, it was an illusion that I'd seen on television and movies where it's just going to be white sand and coconuts and girls in little grass skirts and the flowers around the neck or something. That's really what I was envisioning. But what I learned was that every island is completely different and has a completely different kind of energy and type of people and economy. But specifically Maui, to answer your question of what made me really most kind of go, wow, was particularly running the North Coast and some of the South Road to Hana, where I was running across the lava, or on the North perimeter where I was running basically around huge mountains and just very amazing, epic views. I mean, I'm trying to think what to compare it to. I suppose sort of Lord of the Rings style, epic mountains and ocean. And I love running the coast. That's why I choose the perimeter. It's because I'm running along by the water. It's much more beautiful to look at.
Oh, well, Kauai, oftentimes when people come here, the green garden aisle there of Kauai is also beautiful, majestic views. Did you go to Kalalau when you were on Kauai?
No, I actually, that's the only island I skipped. I only did Oahu, the Big Island, and Maui.
You ran around the Big Island. That's got to be, wow.
That was really tough because it was, I like to run off-road, trails, mountains, beaches, rivers, bike paths. What I don't want to run is with traffic, trucks, cars, whatever, just the noise, the danger, and it's just visually not very appealing because you're just running on a road. So I'm always looking for where's the wild trails. Now, like I said, I'm planning not to plan. So I arrive on the Big Island and I'm like, where's the wild trails? And everybody tells me there aren't any. It's just lava, rock, and roads or jungle. And that was really my only choice. So I had to run a lot more road running and a lot more that was probably the toughest.
You went to Hawaii and you went along the north tip and around and went to the lush side where Hilo was and all that, and then came around South Point and up to Kona and the whole deal there, which is like, so you got the full, what an amazing experience. What a great thing. I think you'll tell me, we all should be out and doing more of this. What a beautiful thing.
It's an amazing mental challenge too, because when I arrived at Kona Airport, of course, I push the button, I start the camera, and I say, okay, here we go. I still don't know what way I'm going to go, remember, because I don't know which direction. But I learned that Kona town, which is, I'm hungry, I've just stepped off the plane and I want some food. So the nearest town with some food is about 7 or 8 miles into the main town of Kona, away from the airport. So that determined the direction I went. I ran that way. And I saw a sign that said, Hilo is 90 miles that way, or Hilo is 110 miles that way, because of course it's a circle. So I'm ultimately going to Hilo, but which way do I want to go? So I went the sort of Kona direction, reached Hilo, and then I tell people in Hilo I'm running back to Kona Airport. Yeah, they find it quite mind-blowing. What I thought was most funny about Hawaii is that the locals would be like, wow, you ran here from the airport. You know, they're so excited. He's all the way from whatever airport it is, wherever I am on the island. They're just so like thrilled, like they can't believe it, like all the way from the airport. But when I tell them, well, I've already run from Miami to San Francisco, there'd be kind of not really much reaction, because they're like, I've never been there.
Wow. So have you spent much time teaching people as you're going, this is a papaya? Have you done experiences of sharing why and what you're doing as you're going?
Absolutely. I mean, as a fruitarian, I'm super stoked and excited about all the fruits that I've never tried, or having an abundance of things that we don't even have in England. Like papayas are very, very rare in England, but of course in Hawaii, they're growing as much as apples grow in England. So I tend to share with my videos literally everything I eat, because that's one of the biggest questions. You know, oh, he's running around the world. Well, what does he eat? Well, there should be no question what I eat, because I quite literally film every meal.
And do you carry anything with you? Like carry apples with you, carry food with you, or you just, I mean, as you're running remote places, I imagine you have. So what kind of things you eat? I mean, if you feel like you need energy, you grab an apple, whatever, I know it must be, but you stay away from carbs. You're not doing meat. You're not doing dairy much, if at all.
I do no meat, no eggs, no dairy, no caffeine. Really, it's just plants. I like to break it down to, if it grows out of the ground, I'll eat it, which makes it real simple, because people are like, what about fish? It's like, well, it doesn't grow out of the ground. So to answer your question, like my go-to things, my main favorite staple is bananas, like really ripe bananas are very filling, like especially if you eat like 10 or 20 of them, like I might do. Or ideally, I'd put them in a smoothie, but of course I can't carry a blender, although that's another story. I used to carry a blender. But that's if I'm reaching a town where I can eat. I'm not going to carry bananas with me because they'll get all squashed. So apples are good to carry, but they're still quite bulky. So what I tend to go for is dried fruits, like raisins are my favorite. They can crush down in the pocket somewhere, or dates. You know, you want to have a variety, because eating raisins for 550 days gets boring. So it's nice to have, oh, there's apricots, or there's dried cherries, or, you know, a bit of variety.
Well, you know, when you brought about what triggered me as you're talking, when you said, oh, papayas are not around in England. And years ago, there's this thing, technology, a thermoacoustic cooler dryer. What's that? You use, it's a passive engine of aluminum foil in a closed system with a gas in it that, as it heats, it goes through the coil and creates cooling. And the net effect outside is it creates dryer. And I thought, you know, we could dry massive amounts of papaya. It's the only way we can get it out of here, because of all the diseases and things and rules and things that might happen. So if we got healthy product and dried it and went to a place that's cold climate, I was thinking Norway but England too. I mean, we could set up a business and run with dried papaya. See if we can figure out a way of creating Seb's. I'm just making it up, but
that would be incredible
in the moment, right? So I hope we'll talk about that again. And all you listening, any ideas are welcome. But I know that if we dry tropical fruit and deliver it to a cold climate, it's got to be a huge hit. What do you think?
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I was so excited to try things I'd just heard of, like a legend. I'd never touched it. Sour sop, some of the chocolate sapote, like these dark sapote things.
Did you ever try durian? I've never tried that one. Have you tried a durian?
So many people have told me about it. Some, it's kind of a you hate it, you love it thing. Some people say it's nasty, horrible custard. Oh, to get back to, you mentioned about the carbs, and this reminded me, the durian is quite high fat. I'm actually a very low fat, high carb athlete. So I'm actually pro sugar. I encourage people to have more carbs. I encourage people to eat more sugar. And this normally blows people's mind because they're like, all they hear on the sort of mainstream health advice is to have low carb and cut out the sugar. But what tends to happen then is once you remove that, it's like, well, what are you going to eat then? And what people end up eating is fat. So if you remove the carbs and you remove the sugar, you've pulled the rug out from people, which is their main number one energy source and the body runs best on, regardless whether you're running around the world or just running to the shops. Because the first comeback is, oh, you're different though, because you're an athlete, you're running 20, 30, 40 miles a day. And I say, no, you need sugar for even brain function. You need sugar if you've got any goals, if you've got anything you want to get done in life, you want to, have vitality and certainty and confidence, you're going to need some blood sugar levels. So I encourage unlimited fruit, unlimited rice, unlimited potatoes, and oats. Those are my 4. Like I say, if there's 4 things, that's it. Fruits, potatoes, rice, oats. And
so for someone that isn't active, when you say unlimited, you mean no restriction, but calorie counts. If you eat 8 tons of rice and you don't move, you will become a new base for this building that we built. And I mean, and if you just add a little water, you now have so I'm just wondering how that works. When you say unlimited, you mean don't stop yourself. That's what you mean?
I love that you picked up on that because I even repeat it. Unlimited fruit, unlimited rice, unlimited. And I'm using the word unlimited on purpose because I want people to reach their natural hunger levels, not trying to be calculating mathematically the calories or whatever. Just eat till you're not hungry. Fill up the tank on rice. And it won't be possible to eat, like you said, 8 million tons of rice or whatever and blow up and get fat because you won't have the appetite for it if you haven't been active. So your body will naturally accept, oh, wow, this first sweet potato I'm eating is lovely. The second sweet potato, third sweet potato. By the time you get to like 5, 6, 7, 8, you're not going to overeat on sweet potatoes. You have a natural kind of sugar sweet switch off where you're like, you know what? I think I'm done with that. Like the first banana is not going to taste as good as the 10th, 11th, 12th banana. So your body has a natural cutoff mechanism, which
you add salt, or you might have something if it's from the ground. Or how does that work in the deal?
Don't use salt. I don't buy salt or salt and pepper. I don't use oil. So it's a kind of no salt, no oil lifestyle. But I do get salts from some other sources, like celery contains sodium. Like a lot of natural plants contain sodium.
Or if someone makes vegetable mix thing with rice, they might use oil to do it. Yes? So
Yeah.
it's not like you're saying no. It's just what you found works. Because, for example, fats. If you have no fats, you have nothing that you need in the brain. There are a lot of things that are precursors for other things. So you're
No.
just. It's very interesting to listen to you because I know you're 114 years old, but you look way younger. But I mean, I'm 70. May I? Are you half that or more?
I am. I'm born in '81. I actually don't even barely keep track of my age. Born in '81, so I guess I'm almost 40. And I did this switch to fruitarian around my mid-20s. And I think since then, I haven't seemed to really age. And I can look at my other friends and see, I mean, I don't normally have this kind of Forrest Gump look. But yeah, to answer your question about what if there happens to be some oil added to the food, or that I don't want to be so low fat that it would be bad for my brain, that's very unlikely because even the fruits and the oats, for example, oats contain fat, a handful of Brazil nuts or a little topping of avocado, or like you said, someone added a little bit of oil to the rice. But I'm trying to keep the fat as low as possible, but I'm not completely cutting it out. It's always going to creep in there somewhere, but I'm not actively adding fat. This is the difference, is people will have a so-called healthy salad and they'll pour olive oil all over it, right, which is like pure fat. Whereas what you actually need per day is probably about a teaspoon of olive oil, but no one's pouring a teaspoon of olive oil on a salad.
Right. What areas as you're going have you really enjoyed? Any place you said, man, what a beautiful. Have you gone to Montana? Not yet.
Not yet. I went over the Appalachian Trail mountains, and I also went over the Rocky Mountains. And I feel like those are two highlights which are both kind of a double-sided coin. They were the most difficult because it's mountainous, so it's not just running on a flat road or along a beach, it's going up. And I can't even run when I'm going up because my belt is so heavy. And also, to add to that weight, I love running down. That's the fun part. But to add to the weight of going up over a mountain, I now have to carry food because there's going to be no shops and nothing available for me to eat along the way. So
when you talked about running down, I remember when you were talking about your Hana run, where you thought that you got some kind of pull from the downward stretch. Is that maybe because you were running down and trying not to slip from the rain? Because I always find running down is more challenging to me than up. It's interesting. What do you find?
Yeah. When I say it's more fun, what I mean is that's my thrill, like a mountain biker. I used to do mountain biking and like fast downhilling, and then I developed into more like free running and parkour, where you do like gymnastics, kind of urban flips and backflips and jumping. And so that developed into taking that back into nature. And then what better combination of like downhill mountain biking and gymnastics, parkour, but to be running down the hill or down the mountain in such a way where you have to leap over a log and land on that root and jump to that rock. Because if you land wrong, one wrong landing, you'll twist an ankle or even break a leg. So to me, that's quite thrilling because it's like an extreme sport now. So I'm actually, if you could see how fast my feet are moving, I'm like, and I'm fully focused on, I'm not thinking about anything, talk about being in the moment. I'm very much thinking only about where am I going to place my feet.
Where's the next foot? Right.
I'm almost falling downhill, to use a Buzz Lightyear phrase. It's like falling with style.
Right. Like Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember that, or was that before you?
I don't remember that.
At the beginning of Saturday Night Live, with its original cast, one of its characters, who's become an actor we've known, he's now retired, Chevy Chase. It was like at the beginning of the show, it was him coming in at somewhere, and he'd fall and do something like all of us. And then he'd say, live from Saturday night. So I just always get a kick out of it. So that's really great. So you've had just a wonderful experience. I always wonder, when you get an audience, you have anything that you know that when you get off here, you're going to go, I want to make sure I tell them this? You know, and again, it's not planned, but what kind of things are important that you'd like to deliver to our audience from all around the world and to all around?
Well, I feel like my entire life has been dedicated and almost obsessive about upgrading and improving myself, but also the selfish reason for that is because I want to feel good. So my goal is actually to feel good, to feel good, to feel good. That's how I discovered the fruitarian thing. So of course I'm going to share that, but then equally I'm going to share my best water drinking, hydrating tips. What's the best water and how much to drink? And then equally I'm going to share what's the best way to approach, being out in nature and sunlight. There's actually something I do called sun gazing, where you quite literally look at the sun during sunrise and sunset hours. So it's a kind of a meditation, if you like, an open eye meditation. You're watching the sun go down, but you're not just kind of looking at the sunset like someone would, take a selfie photo and sit back and, oh, isn't it pretty? Look at the clouds. I mean, I'm literally looking like I'm looking you in the eye, like at the sun. And there's some incredible benefits that are almost undescribable from things like that. So I've kind of upgraded different parts of my life because I'm so interested in how I could feel good. That's why I do what I do. And that's the most important thing I want to share with everyone, because I feel great. So it's no good being the only guy who's going out to play. I want everyone else to feel great too.
Right. I like to think of that as the rising tide raises all ships. I want to take everyone with me. How can I be happy if everything around me isn't happy? How can I share an experience and share that experience and bring it together? I when you were here, we didn't get a chance to meet. I hope you'll get an opportunity to look at MauiArtsAndMusic.org and what we're trying to do, because this Maui Neutral Zone, subtitled It's Anything But Neutral, we talk about anything, and each point of light, each person that I bring on is so significantly part of this, I want to say, self-sustainable model. There's so much potential if we look and work together. You are probably seeing that in your running the same way. All these pieces that many people don't really get fit together in a self-sustainable SebCam. I'm sorry, I kept thinking Sebcast, but it's SebCam. I got
SebCam, yeah. Because I used to call it Seb Video, which was just a very simplistic name. It's me, I'm Seb, and I make video. So it's Seb Video. So I was always filming everything, like I said, for years. 2004, I've pretty much filmed every day of my life for, well over 10, 15 years, or probably even more. It's almost 20 years now. So I always had the camera, and someone, who's a very funny character with his vocabulary, he started saying, where's the SebCam? Is the SebCam on? Oh, I can't believe you missed that moment. You should have had your SebCam. And I thought, it's just like a webcam, always on. And what a brilliant name. So I changed it to SebCam.
When you go around, I don't imagine you started, politics ever come up as you're going? Is that out of the way? Do you get that much going on?
I don't me personally, I don't really pay it much attention.
People that you run into, I always wonder, this has been quite a time to run across America during COVID times, and when America has been polarized in such a gigantic way, and you're running through it, and I was curious how that journey has, evolved in that kind of stuff, it didn't even come up.
It's mostly, for me, it's evolved my own overcoming of the illusions of fear. So when it first was like, okay, everybody stay home for 2 weeks or whatever, I'm thinking, well, I sleep in a hammock and I'm currently running across North Carolina towards Tennessee or something. Like, I'm not going to be able to you know, I had the police sometimes approach me and say, "Excuse me, sir, sitting at this park bench, there's a curfew. You need to go home." So I was like, "Okay, thanks." And I'd walk off, you know, into the woods and disappear in the trees. And, you know, I'd have to almost hide after 9 p.m. and then not come out again till 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. or whatever. Like, I'd have to try and dodge these authorities. And I was concerned that at some point someone might say, "You're not allowed to just be running around like this." And they'd put me in some kind of homeless camp, or I'd get locked up, because I was out in the streets. But this, I came to learn, was just really my own fears and concerns. And actually, all the times that the police were called on me, which is probably as often as once a week sometimes, people call the police all the time. And it's become quite a kind of common joke now. I almost see them coming. I see the blue lights and I'm like, "Oh, are you here for me?" And as soon as they speak to me and I explain what I'm doing, they in fact, they're now in the audience. They're watching and they love, you know, some of the live streams, and they've continued to keep in touch. And I think that's been the greatest development, is breaking through my own fears and just continuing anyway. Like, regardless what the news says, regardless what this side or that party or whatever everyone's saying, it's almost like I'm being pulled over here and I'm being pulled over there. And I've just decided I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
You're a philosopher all wrapped into one. This has been quite a journey for you, and a great journey for us. And I feel like I kind of went on a little bit of the ride with you. It makes it more enjoyable as I'll be tuning in to the SebCam and encouraging others. On our page, we're going to put whatever links you'll be giving me to be able to be right there. And for those on radio, you won't be seeing it, so you'll just have to go to the website or to YouTube SebCam. But this show will be at MauiNeutralZone.com and MauiArtsAndMusic.org. You see, I keep thinking that what we're doing here in Maui, this is my thinking, the self-contained Maui, we're going to flip on a switch. These kind of self-contained things can be everywhere. People can recognize how we can all be. We can do everything. We have the resources in who and what we are to solve any and all problems, I really believe. I really do. By coming, aloha is something that has always been in my heart, but has grown on me, Seb, as we're running around. It truly is a feeling of loving and giving and sharing. And you've heard the word maybe ohana and family. And just, I don't know, Hawaiians are very inspirational. Their culture is known here, and we want to get sharing it with the world, along with every culture. So it's just an exciting time. And now that we have you, we're going to be, you see it, maybe you don't see it. Here we go. I hung a Hawaiian shirt just to say, oh, really, I was going to wear it, but I'm just more casual here like this. Unlike you, I just enjoying it. But what a blessing to have you here with us. I really feel like you came back and wanted to be sure that you gave back to this group here, because we here, the few of us that knew about you, and it's growing now, and I can't imagine your audience isn't doing anything. But do you have any idea how many people are watching you, or how does that go?
One of the most common comments I get is, "Oh, you're so underrated," or "I can't believe you don't have more people watching or more subscribers," or whatever. I'm definitely got less than 5,000 people watching, and people expect you must have millions, or you must have, it must be so popular, it must blow up and go viral and all this sort of stuff. But actually, I found it to be the opposite, especially since I've been so focused on run, eat, edit, sleep, run, eat, edit, sleep. All I really have time to do is just push the video out there and carry on doing what I'm doing. And because there's no marketing and sharing of the videos, I've kind of just had to leave that up to you guys watching, you know.
And I have a similar issue going on with what I do. I have something like 1,000 shows, you know, doing them for interviewing people, all kinds of things. But I know that at some point, I really believe that these puzzle pieces, all these things will be seen. And that's really what I am doing here. I'm
Yeah.
creating a library of beautiful things and people so that when the switch goes on, it is already, but it'll be lighting up the world in a great way. And
Yeah.
you're a very important part of this. Thank you for spending the time and joining me here. SebCam. What's the easiest way, simple way for people to find you, to watch your video?
The best way is just go to YouTube and type in SebCam into the YouTube search, SebCam.
There you are. Okay, good. And this interview, they're going to find, and you may mention it, but I'll have it up there. And I know that we're going to do this again because this is going to be a good experience. I hope you get tremendous support from people because of this interview. You're a wonderful guy. I didn't get into questions like, what did you do before you started running and doing video? And you'll say, well, actually, I make pizza. I'm really an artist. Or I play guitar, or God knows, I very much appreciate you, your energy and your spirit. And I'm not sure what it is that fruitarian, how and where, but I have to get my partner to see if she'll join me in trying it. It's interesting. She years ago had a doctor tell her that if she didn't eat protein, meat, that her bones would crumble. I mean, she was a vegan for, I don't know, 25 years. That was an interesting experience, but anyway, I really like all that you are, and I would like to be supportive in any and every way that I can. Money isn't my strength, but maybe getting the word out about SebCam and being a supporter, that's my part at this point, and we'll see what the world will bring.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. The most valuable thing people could do is share it. And sometimes you think, oh, I don't have much of a good platform to share it. Like, I only have a few friends on Facebook, or I've got an Instagram and there's only my family. But what you can do, people can share it in so many other places. You can put it on a group chat or in some place that I never would have thought of. It might be like a depression forum or a how to lose weight or whatever. There's so many places that I could never think of that you guys are probably involved in, in your own kind of communities. Post it there because you never know who might be watching, who it might benefit them. My goal is to benefit them. I want them to hear the information. I'm not really so much like, I want to be famous.
I understand.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you taking the time, especially, like you say, it's very precious to you. Blessings to you. Any last words for now that you'd like to deliver to our audience at large?
Well, I'll definitely put a copy of this on my YouTube, so it will be great to have this for everybody to watch. And I suppose whenever things, I put on the spot like this, words of wisdom to impart, to finish with, I always think of this. You can always measure what you'll lose if you take that leap of faith, if you follow your dream, but you can never know what you'll gain.
That's why we're dream makers. It's the vision plus the action that creates, the thing here in this physical universe. So it's the dream. If you don't think it and dream it and then do it, what is like you say, it's not that it's lost, it's like the potential. I keep finding I'm walking into my dream all the time, and it excites me. It kind of propels me forward in knowing that the possibilities of what can happen if I keep moving forward with these ideas. So I'm a rocket ship waiting to keep moving it. I believe we are in a great time, and you're a great representative. Seb, it has been truly a pleasure. I look forward to speaking to you again and maybe having you also on here again, wherever I may be.
I'd love to come back on, especially after Hollywood sign, have that kind of celebration of the Hollywood sign. I suppose just to go back over what I mean by to lose. What I mean is sometimes people think, oh, I might lose the job, I might lose the situation I'm in, I might lose the partner, the girlfriend, the whatever. I might lose this known bubble that I live in because I'm scared to go out to the unknown. And what I'm saying is take the leap, because you don't know what you might gain. There might be something way better out there. You're clinging on to what you know. Go for the unknown.
Very important. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Well, let's say goodbye to our radio audience. And is there still TV? I guess there's still TV, but now we're media. We're doing media. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again. And aloha.
Aloha.